It's Colombia is a interesting and difficult, complex political system, and the clientelism is something that I think, as a foreigner coming here, something that sort of impacts. In terms of Colombia as a democracy, how do you see Colombia as a democratic country? How strong are the democratic institutions, and how much power do you think the people have to be involved in and influence and shape the way that the country is run?
The problem is that formally it looks very nice, but when you see how it actually works, it's really terrible. One of the fundamental problems that we have in Colombia is that the notion of accountability of the representatives doesn't exist. I work in the constitutional reform trying to work on that specific subject, and the definition came very strangely. But the basic thing is that people don't know who the representative is, and the representative doesn't know who does he represent. He represents his own clientele, which actually is not representation, because clientelism is basically doing favors individually, not collectively. And that's designed in the electoral system. That's why we are proposing a system that would use electoral districts, which is something so obvious that it's hard to believe that it would be a revolutionary impact in Colombia. But we also need to preserve the proportionality between votes and seats. And this is our proposal. But the fundamental problem is that the only way that the society can relate to politics is in a clientelistic way. And this is structured in the ballot. The ballot, for example, for the Senate, each party can produce, has a national district. So what you would have is that each party produces a list of 100 possible candidates for the Senate that has 100 seats, and but that would be that the ballot will have 900 pictures and names, which is impossible. So when I was running for the Green Party, I was not speaking out my ideas. I was just trying to position that I was number 3 green, because people have to do that there. And the results, it's really striking, because you had in the parliamentary elections of 2010, for the lower chamber, you had 2 million votes that were declared invalid, that they were wrongly marked. 2 million. And there were 800 that were not marked at all. 800,000. That people went into the booth, and didn't know what to do. The end results of this is that people don't know who the representative is. We have measured that in the measurement of social capital of Colombia. We are serious on that, and it has gotten worse. So this is a very central, because how would you describe our representative systems when citizens don't know who the representative is? So this is, you asked me about the political systems. Well, this is a slight contradiction, to say the least. 62% of the Colombians don't know who the representative is in the local, city, departmental, lower chamber, higher chamber. 62 have 0. They don't know who the representative is. They didn't vote, and they don't know who the closest of them are. And this is getting worse. So that's more or less, and this is very complex because if you don't have accountability, by the clientelism, the opposite of clientelism is public representation of interest. So you represent in England or any country that has most of Europe have someone is elected by a district, electoral district, a territory, and he represents the people from that territory. Here you don't have that. You have, for example, at the departmental level, for example, they used to elect to the lower chamber in Antioquia, which is in a department of about 4 million people, or 6 million people. Someone elected by 6,000 votes. 6,000 for the Senate. The Senate, we have a senator from my own party that was elected by 10,000 votes. 10,000 in the national, a country of 46 million. 10,000 votes, who does he represent? He doesn't represent. He has no accountability. He just have to work for his own interest to fix his nest, and all that. So this is a fundamental problem, and because it generates so much, the other one generates so much corruption and the illegality. You have all these institutions with very low institutional trust from the people. They don't trust these institutions. The lowest one is of the legal institutions are, let's say, very low, and in the recent crisis around reform of justice that was so, it was really a monument to impunity, you say in English, impunity, okay? In those months, the trust in the parliament, that the indicator said it was 35%, it dropped 20%, just there. But there are some parliamentarians that worry about that, but in reality they don't worry too much because they have, the things by the mechanisms I described before, certain re-election.